Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 595. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by superstar warehouse romance author Kelsie Haas from KelsieHaas.com. Kelsie, how are you?
I am so excited to be here. Back when I was a baby author, your show was one of the first ones that I listened to. So it's a real full circle moment to be here with you on the podcast.
I mean, you made it here through hard work. You made it here through crushing it out there. And it's really cool to know that, hey, you listened all those years ago, and now you are working so hard. You work so hard. You do a lot of
It's
work.
one of my
You know
favorite
this,
things
right?
to do.
Okay, well that's good.
Yes.
That's good. You were telling me off the air, you had your mom recently visit your warehouse of many, many books, and you asked her, like, did you ever think this would happen? And what was that like for you?
She looked at me and she said, "Not really." And it was super fun because I remember sending my first book that I wrote for publication to my mom and her reading it. And she's like, "It was pretty good. And I would tell you if I didn't like it."
That's
So it's
awesome.
fun when you've been writing long enough to be able to look back, because back then I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. And now we have all these fun stories in real life along with fiction.
I know. That's so cool. I mean, like you as a trend this year, we've had so many people that sell well direct. I mean, was it scary for you to think about, like, oh, we're now going to just start not fully relying on Amazon. We're going to say, I'm going to get these books. I'm sure at first it was shipped from your house and now, like, shipped from an actual location that isn't your garage or whatever. Like, was it terrifying? Was it like you saw other people doing it, so you know it was possible you could do it? Like, how did you get emotionally, mentally through all of that?
It was scary. In in writing, I've always had the perspective that I have a long time ahead of me. I have a long career ahead of me, so I have time to take riskier investments right now than I might when I get older. And so I thought
Mm-hmm.
I could see a lot of people having success with it, and I thought if they can do it, maybe I can too. And it's worth a try. And so we tried it, and it worked really well. It was a good risk to try.
I like that. Like, almost instead of the life is short approach, you took the life is long approach, and you said, well, I've got some years, I've got some decades to figure this out, so might as well start now. I think people don't always think in that way. I think you seem like an optimist like me, and I think that's where the optimism can be really helpful.
Yes, and it helps. My husband's a CPA, and so he's always talking about financy and bestie type things. And when you're younger, that's the
Mm-hmm.
time when you can make riskier investments. And so I see it kind of the same way in my career.
I love that. That is awesome. Well, we're gonna have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. I'm really glad that you're here, Kelsie. We're gonna have a blast. Um, So I do have to shout out Jane Friedman's Bottom Line newsletter, which used to be called The Hot Sheet. Just had its 10th year anniversary. We often take a look at this one for some of the news. So congrats to Jane for a decade doing that. And her blog has been around a lot longer than the Sell More Book Show was. So hat tip to her. Uh, I'm going to ask you this previous week's question in a minute, Kelsie. So get ready. But
Okay.
um, a couple weeks ago, we asked, what is your definition of success as an author? Judy McGuire White said to reach, entertain, and deeply connect with your target audience, and the money thing is icing on the cake. Adriano Ariginello said, "It comes in stages, honestly. Each milestone charts the path to the next. Selling to someone you don't already know, your first true fan who backs everything you make, and becoming profitable." Great answer there, Adriano. And Jonathan Roseland said, "A Ferrari and Brad Pitt playing my protagonist. I would say its impact of my email and box full of messages from readers who found my work inspiring or edifying." I like that. We all would not mind having a Brad Pitt movie version of our books. So, Kelsie, what is your definition of success as an author?
So my team's goal is to get more books into the hands of readers and to help them feel seen, heard, and loved through the stories. So that's
Mm,
the overarching metric of success for us. But I would love to have a red carpet moment, with the lights flashing and the fancy dress. That would be so much fun.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. But I love that you have a mission statement. You have a mission statement for your author business. You're treating it like a business. And you have a mission statement, which I think a lot of authors, especially, you shared it in a very businessy way. Your team, I think that all authors trying to get to the point where they have a team and a mission statement would not be a bad place to be when it comes to having success as an author.
Yeah, for sure.
So good work there, Kelsie. I'm
Thank
a
you.
fan. Uh, you're welcome. Awesome. Let's get ready for the top story of the week. The Library of Kindle-andria. If you thought Amazon's exclusivity rules would never change, brace yourself, because now your Kindle Unlimited books can be in the library, reports Elena Johnson in her Indie Inspiration Facebook group. Quote, "I had a Zoom call with my Amazon rep the first week of August," said Johnson. "At that point, she told me we can now publish our KU enrolled books to public libraries," end quote. Now, before you make any change to your distribution, be aware that so far this is a silent launch with no Amazon emails or announcements, although Johnson's rep told her you can tell your friends. What does this mean to authors who want to put their KU books into libraries? Save your receipts. Quote, "My recommendation, if you're going to do this," the author writes, "email KDP and ask them if this is real and true first. Then you have written proof in case you need it for draft to digital or anywhere else." Johnson shared the email she received from KDP, but without anything official and in writing about a policy change. Most authors are advising other authors to reach out over their KDP dashboards, save the emails just in case. Some authors are advising ever more care. Quote, "This is obviously a huge boon for authors looking to expand their readership beyond Amazon," writes James Blatch in his latest self-publishing formula email. "However, given the platform's tendency to ban authors who fall foul of their terms and conditions, we'd recommend authors wait until Amazon releases a statement about it before publishing wide," end quote. It's important to remember that this change only affects your ability to publish to library distributors, so be careful that you don't accidentally publish wide when you set up your books in your favorite ebook distributor. This has been making the rounds, Kelsie, obviously keeping in mind that we have to proceed with caution here. What came to mind when you heard about this?
I think it's a great PR move for Amazon because withholding titles from
Mm-hmm.
libraries is never a good look. And
Mm-hmm.
libraries aren't really a competitor for Amazon because library readers are borrowing and not purchasing or subscribing. So I think this would essentially be an extension of their exclusivity role. And I think it's really cool. I personally don't see them
Yeah.
dropping that exclusivity unless they're forced to.
Yeah. I mean, that was going to be my hot potatoes of wisdom question. Do you feel like this is an isolated decision to kind of keep that market share and not have people putting their ebooks on Nook and Kobo and on their own website? Of course, do you think it's just kind of a one-off thing here?
I think so, because the big thing that when I was in KU, I would always tell my readers, I'm sorry you can't get them anywhere else. It would be great if they were in a public library or something like that. So I think it would just be a way to say, like, well, if you can't afford your KU subscription, head over to the library without them like becoming loyal to another retailer.
Right, right. And it makes sense. It's kind of, in a way, a loss leader before the loss leader. If you have library readers getting excited about these KU books, and then, oh, well, the library only lets you check out a certain amount at a time. KU is actually more flexible than the library. Then people start ponying up the 13 a month or whatever it is at this point in order to get that. So I absolutely agree with you. I do think that they really do not, libraries don't make money, but Barnes and Noble, Apple, Kobo, they make money, and Amazon doesn't want other people to make money. So I think you're absolutely right.
Yes. I mean, the
You got a
other thing
question
that
here for me?
Amazon,
Oh,
oh,
you go. Sorry.
the other thing I think that Amazon really tries to do is to feed people's need for instant gratification. Like we have the one click
Mm.
buy, you have all of your information saved. It's so easy. I love shopping on Amazon. And when you go through a library
Mhm.
to read or borrow a book, there's often a wait period. And I think this would be cool for Amazon to say, like, oh, hey, you don't have to wait. You can just come over here for whatever it is a month and get it immediately instead of being on hold and waiting until someone else finishes it.
Mm. Yeah, that's the start of their new ad campaign, right? Is just, are you tired of waiting at libraries? And then they get you. They get you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. All right. You got a question here for me?
Yes. Once their books are available to libraries, what should authors do to get them into libraries?
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting part, right? Just because you can have a book in libraries doesn't mean that it's automatically going to show up at every single library in the world. Um, there are, as was mentioned in the article, some distribution channels through Draft to Digital. There are certain ways to go direct through the library system, but generally it's a lot easier through these distribution channels. I will say it never hurts to follow the path of the people before you. The Wide for the Win Facebook group has a lot of resources of people who have gone the library route and who are getting some income from libraries. Look for the posts in that group where people have talked about it. I am certain that people have courses on this. I am certain that people have services for this. It's not something I've used personally, but obviously, if you're going to look at any of those resources, make sure that there are good reviews that you can't find on that author's own website, on that course creator's own website. You want to find people talking about it. But generally, if the most important thing is your own library has it, once you are in the right kind of channels, go to your library, make a relationship with the librarians there, and see if just in that individual library you can make that connection. I think that's not a terrible place to start.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've had readers donate old copies of their books to the libraries once they're done with it. And I always recommend going in and asking for your librarian to order them because sometimes they will. And we've had readers get books into libraries that way too.
Oh, I love that. Asking your readers to help. I mean, the funny thing about asking readers to help is that they become more devoted readers to you from them helping you. So them helping you actually makes them want to help you more and buy your books more. So you end up kind of like a 2-for-1 deal there. That is really, really cool that even if it wasn't the initial intention, you've been able to get some of your readers to help more readers to find you.
Yeah, for sure. It's so fun to hear them say that their library has gotten them in based on a simple conversation.
Oh, that's so great. That's so great. Well, Kelsie, the time we've all been waiting for, the lightning round, is upon us. which means our silliest segment begins with you making a lightningy, thundery sound. You have the floor.
I just wondered if Lightning McQueen was trademarked, like the ka-chow sound.
We've definitely had people do the ka-chow. If you
Okay,
want to
I'll do
submit that as your final answer. Okay.
that is my final answer. Ka-chow.
Okay. Ka-chow. The ka-chow has happened. We're sued. We've already been sued by Disney. All right. So, not really. Not really. But me and Roland, who wonderfully Roland Denzel gathers the show notes every week. Roland and I had heard that you had something called a scratch and dent sale. Can you tell us what that is and how it works?
Yes, I first learned of scratch and dent sales when I was shopping for furniture for my first apartment with my husband.
Mm.
We went
Mm-hmm.
into, I think it was an Ashley's, and they had this big banner that said scratch and dent, and you went back, and the furniture was fine, but it had little imperfections to it. So I created my
Yeah.
own version of that back room on my website. Because when you order author copies, sometimes they come with little damages and dings, and a lot of readers like their books to be pristine. So that means you can't sell the ones with
Yes.
little scratches at full price, but they're still perfectly readable. And it's a great way to offer the same stories at a discount for readers on a budget, because I definitely can relate to that sometimes.
I love that. Yeah. Because look, you get deliveries. Some of the books are going to be beat up. This is a good way to still, make a little money on them and help out readers. I love your scratch and dent sale. I think that's
Thank you.
fantastic. You're
So, what are
welcome.
some other
Awesome.
creative ways to turn mishaps into book royalties, Brian?
So, look, there are going to be things that happen. There's going to be things that happen in your author career. And if you have a launch not go exactly the way you wanted, due to something not getting there on time, it's okay to think around it. I had an author who didn't get their books in time for a signing, and they just decided, I'm going to give out bags so that people can better carry their books and they can purchase my books that I'm just going to ship to them later. And so they were able to find a way to actually help people with a problem, a book addiction problem. No, having too many books in their hands, but they were actually able to sell copies of their books. And the readers were happy that they didn't have another book that they needed to lug home. And so there are always ways to take something like, look, you send out an email with the wrong link. Oh no, well, I'm going to send out the email again, but this one's going to have a 10% off coupon on it. Like, think of just ways to be a human. When something really actually happens that messes up the plan, be a human, share your humanness, think of a way to help people, and usually it's going to work out. So, yeah, which I think, is kind of the belief behind your scratch and dent sales anyway. Is a great way to just creatively problem solve.
Yeah, well, I always tell
Um,
my team there are no emergencies in publishing. We're not doing brain surgery. Everyone is going to
mhm.
survive if their books don't come the way planned or intended. Like, it's all going to be okay.
Absolutely. I love that. It absolutely is not like we do not have to be bothered by things that feel big to us in the moment, but are actually inconsequential in terms of the world and life and death. So I
Yes,
love that.
exactly.
I love that. You've got a good leadership head on your shoulders there, Kelsie.
Thank you.
Um,
Lots of
you're
practice.
welcome. Yeah, good, good. Um, so I hear that your releases are planned well in advance. How do you stay motivated so far ahead of a launch?
So I think for me, it's less about motivation and more about strategy. My
Mm,
overarching goal is to get more body positive romance books in the hands of readers. And so when we're
mhm,
building a plan with that goal in mind, there are things that have to happen. Like
Right.
If we want to have great special editions at wholesale pricing, I have to plan 90 days in advance to have the story completed and edited and the cover designed. And if I want the audio
Hmm.
to drop at the same time as a print and ebook, I have to make sure that my narrators are signed with me, they have the slot open, and that they have the files on time. And if you want to have a peaceful launch so everyone on the team isn't frazzled, you have to
Hmm.
schedule emails and social media in advance so you're not panicked on release day when something doesn't go totally right. And I think it sets you up better for the next launch as well. So for me, maybe that's where my motivation comes from, is from the plan, not necessarily doing things
Yeah.
based on how I'm feeling in the moment.
That makes total sense. And I mean, we've had some amazing people on the show who um, absolutely focus on, like Katie Cross, who always focuses on getting her audio released day and date with her ebook, with her paperback, and you having to plan to have the special edition available like day and date at the same time, because not only does it need to be ready, you got to get the book shipped to you overseas or locally, depending, but probably overseas is my guess. And so it's like you have to plan so far ahead, but it always goes back to the old maxim, a failure to plan is a plan to fail. And so you are planning to make this the best possible experience for your readers. And I have a feeling that's why they like you so much.
I hope it helps, honestly. I hope it helps my
I'm
readers.
sure.
I hope it helps my team. And I want my launch days to feel like a celebration, not like a panicked scramble. So it helps me too.
Yes. Good. Good. I think we all deserve that. I think we all deserve that. Awesome.
So, how
Next
do you
question. I'm
decide?
ready.
You're ready, right? How do you decide between releasing a book right away and saving up several books for a rapid release?
So, this ties really well into what you were saying, because I mean, whether or not it's sitting on a book for a while for a rapid release, or sitting on a book for a while to actually plan out the launch very extensively. I mean, it's very difficult. I think a lot of it comes down to personality too. I could never hold up books for a rapid release. I just, it's not my personality. If I have something available, I want to share it with the world as soon as humanly possible. Even doing what you do, Kelsey, and sitting on it and waiting for all the things to be kind of figured out ahead of time, that would be hard for me too. I think that you need to look at what brings you joy, because I think at the beginning, if you're just trying to follow someone else's strategy, but that's their joy and not necessarily yours, it's just going to cause you pain. And we don't want it to be painful. Just like you said, for your launches, you want them to be a celebration, not a panic. We want it to be joyful. We want to bring joy to our readers. We want to bring joy to our team. We want to bring joy to ourselves. And so figuring out the strategy that is most likely to provide that joy is going to be a positive.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is hard to sit on the books when they're written. I'll agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can imagine. I just, yeah, not for me, not for me. Thanks, but I'm glad you plan it ahead. For all of us who can't, you're planning it ahead.
Well, now we know
Um,
why trad
so
publishers are so slow compared to indies.
I know, I know. Oh my gosh. So last question of the lightning round here. Many authors find it hard to take time off. How do you handle time off from writing and time off from your author business?
I love this question
Good.
because I love my time off. And I think you have to decide if time off is a priority to you. And it might not be for
Mm,
some people. I know some people like me who love working, but like to the extreme, they would be miserable if they had to sit around on a beach without a problem to solve.
mhm.
But But for me, I want to have time to reset and enjoy my family in a new location. So
Yep.
if time off is important to you, you have to plan around that. I would look at my calendar and try and plan it when you're not likely to be interrupted by quote unquote emergencies, because there really aren't that many emergencies in our business. And
Nope.
I would think about everything that could come up while you're away and have a plan in place for all of it. Me personally, I don't enjoy time off from writing as much as I enjoy time off from the business. So I'll I'll team up with my husband and say like, "Hey, can I get an hour or two of writing in the morning, and then you can have an hour or two to go try out a new restaurant or drink a beer without kids talking to you."
Mm-hmm.
And it works out so we can both have some me time on vacation too.
That's an awesome trade. I feel like he maybe got the better end of the deal, but like both of you got what you wanted, so it worked out.
Exactly. I'm not as pleasant to be around when I'm not writing, so I think everyone fares a little bit better.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. It's really for their benefit, not for
It's for
yours.
it's
It's
for
it's
everyone
just
else.
societal. Yeah,
I'm so
that's
selfless.
amazing. Yeah, oh my gosh, that's what I was thinking about you. So um Kelsie, we need to come up with a question of the week. Is there any subject based on what we're talking about with the libraries, what we're talking about with kind of the creative ways to deal with mishaps, or even just sitting on books for a while? Any kind of questions you want to ask our listeners for today?
That's a great question.
Even the subject is fine. Like something that's like, I want to ask about this subject, and then I'll use improv brain and we'll come up with the question.
I want to know what the dream vacation would be for your listeners. If they want to go
Ooh,
on vacation, if they want to write a little bit on vacation, if they want to do some businessy stuff and then not, if they want to
I
totally
love that. What would
unplug.
your dream author business vacation look like? Would you do nothing or keep working during the fun? I love it. I love it. You can answer that question of the week at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or at sellmorebookshow.com. You should absolutely go to kelseyhaas.com and go take a look at these wonderful body positive romance books. Kelsie, it's been so nice having you on the show this week. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me, Brian.
Yeah, you're welcome. I loved this full circle moment. We get to have the full circle moment again next
Yay.
week. So whoop whoop. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great week of book selling. We'll be back next week for episode 596. For Kelsie, I'm Brian. Take good care, sell a lot of books, and we'll see you next week for episode 596. Bye, everybody.
Bye.